record. And now we're recording. So it's on.
Okay, sweet.
And then again, so I was just saying something, and then the moment I record, then you forget everything you're saying.
I completely did just now.
I know.
I wrote the note.
It's funny how did you know that's an actual thing with the human mind? Have you ever noticed that when you walk, you're in your room, right? And something pops in your mind, you're like, oh, I gotta go do that. And so you get up, you get out, and the moment you get to the garage or the kitchen or whatever it is, you're like, why am I here? You know?
Yes. Yeah.
Have you ever?
And I write it on my hand, so people all the time are like, you always have stuff on your hands. Can I get you a sticky note? I'm like, no, because I will lose it. So I always have stuff on my hands. Like ink poisoning.
I'm talking about stuff that's even immediate.
Yeah, no, same. I don't know what's going on.
So if you needed to walk from your room to the kitchen, you would write it on your hand first?
Yes, probably.
I love it. Yes.
I do.
Okay, so that's actually a really good strategy. I should probably do that. But what I was going to say is what happens when you walk into another room is that your brain starts to analyze everything. It starts to look at the frame. It starts to remember everything. So if it's a new location, you're looking for dangerous things or safe things or recognizable things. But if it's a location, like a kitchen, obviously, you're looking for things that are out of order, Yeah, when you're in the kitchen, you notice why is that over there? You instantly see it, It's because that's how it works. It works on a room by room basis.
That's crazy. I had no idea.
That's it's interesting. It's
I'm dang it, brain.
Gotta unlock the brain.
I know.
It's interesting, because it's that whole the primal brain where it's when you used to have to react to everything in a moment's notice, but now we're just chilling in our rooms, and so it's when you just walk into another room, you're reacting to it.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
I just think it's funny to think of because it's the same thing with the recording. It's okay, now that we've recorded, we analyze the room, and then we're it's a new room.
It is.
Who
just walked by behind you?
That's Schiffer. No, that was my roommate, Jake. This is
oh, okay.
This is his.
I'm a ghost.
A ghost. What? My door's closed.
That would make an incredible episode.
Oh, actually, I do want to turn off my fan. I got a comment that that my microphone picks it up pretty well.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear anything, but...
Well, now you'll hear less. Yeah, so the agreement with the door was legitimately hey, are you cool with me having a podcast and the door being open? And it's why not? And it's you might be walking by every now and then. And you're okay. So that's it.
I need you to walk every few minutes for continuity.
You have right there. You have a part in my podcast. I almost said my play. That's the fun part, no joke. So the way I kind of pitched it to Jake was I was when I first moved here, which I moved here 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Feels 2 years ago. But oh my gosh, it's been 3 years. Anyway, and then I lost my train of thought. When I first moved here, I told him that I was I normally like to have the hub where all my friends know they can go, right? It's just in and out. And so honestly, I want one day to start a podcast, to be talking to you, to be talking to like episode 5, and then Jalein walks up and she's we started your podcast.
Oh.
And then I'm just get out of here. Yeah.
But then you're smiling because you secretly like it.
Yeah.
Get out of here, guy.
Geez, Jalein. Oh my gosh.
I wish Jalein wouldn't walk by.
Just do it to me.
Oh. Man, in the perfect world, yes. I just want to live in what's that thing called? When it's not a cul-de-sac, when it's there's nothing, it's the dead end.
I think that is called a cul-de-sac.
Okay, so that's my dream, is to just have like all my friends as my neighbors and like in a little cul-de-sac thing. I'm like, oh, fun. 4th of July weekends or days would be so fun.
Dude, that's when we were talking about Joe Rogan and the new what's it?
The new Hollywood.
It wasn't the new Hollywood, but it's here in California. It's where all the technology's made. Starts with a C or an S.
I have no idea.
But anyway, it's the new app. It's like on the tip of my tongue. That's why it's bothering me. But yeah, essentially, that's why he's doing it. That's what he's doing. He's able to like move there, and he literally. I was listening to a podcast where he's talking to his best friend Duncan Trussell, and he's like, "I will buy you a house to force you to live there, to force you to be on my podcast, just as a reoccurring guest every now and then."
Aww.
And yeah, it's because you get this vibe. You don't get this with everybody, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I know it's been a decade and we're still, it's as if we just graduated last year.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
I feel like it's super easy to talk to you, especially because like I think, yeah, you remind me a lot of my sister and my mom. So it's just like, I feel like I'm talking to them. But
Yes.
as well as like, yeah, like school and like theater is just so emotional. So you get really deep connections.
You're right. Oh my gosh, I forgot that's a thing.
Wait, okay. Before we get are we already gonna get into theater talk? Are we gonna get into theater talk?
Well, before we do, I just want to say, first of all, thank you for having me. I truly am so honored to be a part of this amazing thing that you're doing. And I think that, I don't know, I think that just knowing you as my friend, like one of my best friends in high school, and the amazing person that you are now with all of life experiences in the decade, the last decade. I think that just who you are as a person brings a lot of joy. And so I truly am like genuinely so honored to be a part of this and to be able to help with that and bring joy out to the world.
Oh my gosh, that is gonna be so much for me to digest, and I cannot wait to edit this later, because right now I can't cry on camera. I have to be cool, I have to be tough. But then like when I'm editing it tonight, I'm like, oh Jalein, you're so like,
just have it on a loop.
yeah, just like, I'm honored to be here. You're such a nice person.
But
Like,
just put yourself into the frame, like being tough.
Yeah, just keep
No. It's not even a video, it's just a picture of you.
Sunglasses slowly going on.
That's a skipper all over again.
Down. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, but I do mean it though. Every single word, I mean it. I was so excited when you decided to do this, because I know that this is your baby. And so I know that you're going to put a lot of like your whole heart and soul into it. So
dude, you're really putting me into the moment. You're really taking me out of my own head and putting me in the moment. I really appreciate that. That's like, thank you. Thank you for that. You're
welcome.
Yeah, it's really nice to obviously say that, and obviously to receive it. I kind of never thought I'd get it. It's one of those things where it's like, you're a really good guest.
Okay, I'll see you guys later.
I did it. I'm out.
Everybody.
But yeah, I think a lot of times people, it's really easy to make things about you because you go in sort of an autopilot mode, you know. And I was definitely at the beginning of this in my autopilot mode. I was definitely like, all right, let's just get going. I'm really exhausted. And then you're saying, hey, whoa, let's take a moment to appreciate what's happening right now. And I was like,
oh, yeah.
That's so true. Thank you.
Oh.
So yeah, thanks for getting me out of my head. Thanks for putting me in the moment. When are you hosting your own podcast? Because I want to be on that.
I don't know yet. I want to, because I'm still transitioning to, living from Texas to here. And so I told my friend, because she also wants to start doing like, um, I guess like a more like video, I guess. Well, I guess it'll be kind of like this because she lives there and I'm here. But I told her, I was like, yeah, I'll let you know when everything is settled and my dog from Texas is here, and then we can jump into that. So, but yes, you will definitely be a guest. And another thing, the reason why I'm genuinely just so excited for you doing this is because, and I've told you this many times before, and I'll continue to say it, you're just one of the most like non-judgmental person like that I've ever met. Like one of the most, I don't know, you're just so genuine and you don't judge people. You're just like, where are you at in life? Okay, I'm gonna meet you there, and let's go on this journey. And I don't know, like I think now we live in a time where everything is about ourselves, like social media and getting likes and getting, you know, followers and stuff like that. And that's cool. That's not like a problem, but it's I think when we become so, about me, we forget about the other person, and then we lose compassion. And so we need more of that in the world. And I know I see that you have that characteristic in you. And so to be able to put that out there for people to listen to, um, I'm just grateful to be a part of that.
How do you think, like, thank you. That's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of more than I've gotten in a long time. I'm going to be holding on to all these. You have no, I mean, you probably do know, but yeah, it's like a good compliment can go so far. That could really be the string that people hold on to for such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
I really appreciate all of this. I appreciate it. As for saying like the nice guy, like thank you. Some people would disagree, but no, I agree with what I think you were saying, is to like I like to meet people on their level, where yeah, I can be a little judgmental in the sense of like I'll try to judge you. I'll try to say like I feel like you're here right now. Not that that's a problem though. Not that
Mm-hmm.
bad, or
No, yeah.
not that you should feel ashamed or in any way, shape, or form. It just seems like right now you're struggling with this, or you're dealing with that, or you're doing great and things are amazing, but you're getting too big for yourself almost.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fun for me to find where people are, like you said, like meet them on their level, and then just show them like no matter what level you're at, you can always just have a little more fun. You know,
Right.
you can always just take things not so serious. It's just like just
Mm-hmm.
have a little like, and it really comes down to like when I was getting a little depressed recently, I really what brought me out of it was realizing like everything's a joke. Anything that seriously though, anything that you hold dear, anything that you hold sacred, anything that you hold special, it's a joke. It's all a joke. Like in the grand scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about, because what is a joke? It's all about having different perspective. You know,
Gotcha.
when you look at whatever you want to look at through someone else's eyes, you can see that the thing that means the most to you means absolutely nothing to someone else. So it's like these things that you value, just because you put value to it doesn't mean that it has value. But the value that you put on things is just as worth as any value in the world, because it's the value that
Right.
you
Right.
got a little tangent. But yeah, so yeah, I like to meet people on their level and just have fun with it.
No, I
um,
get what you mean, but that's why I think compassion is so important, is because not only will you meet someone at their level, and even though there will be those times that it feels big to them, but to you, you're like, it's not that big of a deal. But having that compassion and that empathy, you kind of, you like feel with them, and you're like, oh, I know that this is a big deal to you. How can I help? Oh, you don't have a car? I can pick you up around that time.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people learn that like money can help almost everybody, you know, but when you don't have money, you have to learn how to help people in other ways.
Hmm.
And I'd say that's always been a struggle of mine. Not that I'm like complaining about being broke or something. Um, I actually have a strong like belief between having money and losing creativity. I feel like the more money you have, the harder it is to be creative. Cause
Mm.
because you can just do stuff. You can just, oh, okay, I'll just go do that, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
and then when you can't afford something, you think to yourself, I can't do it, you know. But when you can't afford anything, you go, how can I do it? How am I
Right.
gonna make this happen, you know? And so that the same thing with money, where it's like, okay, someone's like, okay, well, how can I help you? And they think I can give you $50 and that fixes your problems for right now, you know. Well, I don't have those $50, so I look at it as like going like, well, how can I help you? And then it's just like, well, I'm struggling with this in my life, and it's like, well, psychologically we can try to meet on like a happy level and just put you in a happy mood, and that's the most I can,
Right.
you know. But I think it's really cool that you pick up on that. I don't think a lot of people pick up on that, like on like the social cues, on the. I always say there's like a physical realm and an earth and a mental realm, and
Hmm.
I feel like you have a really good grasp of the mental realm. Like you're able to pick up on those vibes, and you feel, and you can say like, yeah, you put out the good vibes, you know, and you see when people are struggling, and then yeah, you can see me dealing with people struggling, and it's like, oh, dealt with it in a good way, you know. It's like, do you think you've always been able to like have that clairvoyance, that
No, no, definitely not. And I think it has a lot to do with my faith and experiences. And also, I think because of, like, I'm very thankful that I can be creative in some areas. And so, like, for example, if I'm trying to explain a complicated concept, my brain, thankfully, just does this thing where it turns it into like a cartoon or like something like super simple. And I'm able to like, oh, for example, if it's this and this and this, like an example is if let's say you asked me, hey Jalein, could I have um could I have that jacket or something? But I know that that jacket is, um, and let's say we don't speak the same language. You're just like pointing like you want the jacket, but the jacket has like stuff on it that's gonna like make you itchy and stuff. And I'm trying to explain like, no, I can't. And in your mind, you're probably like, oh my gosh, she's selfish. She doesn't want to share it with me. And I'm like, oh, how would I explain that concept to someone else? And letting them know that I'm not being selfish, but it's because I love them and I care for them. And then it made me think of, when you're eating and your dog is just right there and you have like a piece of chocolate and they want it and you're like, you can't have this, and they get all sad and you're like, no, 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 it's not, like, I love you but this will kill you,
yeah.
and so yeah, I think my I don't know, my brain just does that thing, or it helps me to like empathize with people and kind of see things from their perspective. But it took me a long time to get to where I am now, like with the whole like mental realm thing.
Yeah. You mentioned cartoony. Um, is it cartoony or childish? And not
Childish.
okay.
Like more, it's like elementary.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very. I feel like I've noticed that about myself. I feel like I've noticed. I feel like I've like split my personality into three, where I
Hmm.
have like myself, who just is like kind of the autopilot. I don't have a lot of control over that because that's when autopilot's on.
Hmm.
And then I have the older version of me who says, John, I don't think that was very smart. I think you could have done better there. And then there's the little kid John who just always just wants to have fun and play and just ruin
Hmm.
everything. And he's like, I'm so sorry, and I just want to. And yeah, and so I started teaching myself how to see the world through his eyes more in order to sympathize with people more, in order to realize, like, as you said, because the adult side of me would have been like, why do you want this itchy jacket? You know?
Right.
The
You're just like,
child side, I
no.
just want the jacket. I don't want the itchy side. And it's like we're saying the same thing in different ways, you know?
For sure. Yeah. No, yeah, I definitely don't want, when you have that like wonder in your eyes, like the childishness, I don't ever, it makes me sad because I feel like people, as we grow up, like a lot of people tend to lose it. There have been times even that I've felt myself starting to lose it, and I'm like, no, like I don't want to like lose that. And appreciating sunrise or the sunset, and you're like, wow, it's so pretty. And then someone comes over and starts, well, that's just it's a collection of gases, and you're like, why, sir? Why do you do this? Like, you're like, gosh dang, like, so, but that's why it's important to have friends who are like that. You keep each other just like fun, and you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Find a community. Find a community.
Yes.
Yeah, be yourself and express yourself, and also kind of let other people express themselves, and like you're like, I think that way, you know?
For sure.
I don't know if this transitions super well, but but bear with me. There's a little um well, I the reason it made me think of it is because I also felt that recently. I felt that childlike wonder go. And
Mm-hmm.
and it was confusing. I was because yeah, it's like you think like, man, I used to think one way and now I don't. I'm like, where did that go?
Mm-hmm.
How do I get that back? And you can't learn how to get that back exactly. It's like
Yeah.
you or not. Um, I think what I said helped me was everything's a joke, you know. But what's interesting is when you're feeling like that, is you end up doing things that make it worse. You push the people away that care the most. You stop exercising, which obviously is like good for you, you know. You eat bad food, which makes you feel bad. And so it's like all these things, once you're like in this mood, in this mindset, it just digs you deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't realize like, oh, I just have to stop doing what I'm doing. Like it's
Yeah.
you think the world is bad. You think everything's bad, you know, because you're in a bad mood, so it's you reflect everything outside, you know. But then you
Yeah.
realize like, oh, once I fix what's going on inside, and then everything else starts to brighten up too. Coincidence?
Right. Exactly. That's so true. That's true. Because, like, for example, if I'm just like, oh, like I'm so exhausted, blah, 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 and then I get my coffee, suddenly colors are like
Yeah.
so much brighter, ideas start to come in, um and you're like, wow, I feel terrible that I was being a terrible person 2 seconds ago.
You had this negative outlook, and it was so real, you know, it was
Right.
so sure of it. And
Yeah.
then yeah, next thing you know, you're like, oh, that wasn't real.
Yeah, but also what you were saying, or what you had brought up earlier, is like the importance of community. um I have like a few girls who are just like, we keep each other accountable. Like if I'm like, oh my gosh, like my heart hurts, blah 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 blah. Because when you're hurt and when you're in pain, that's all you can feel. That's all you can see, and it feels so real. And then I'm like, and then blah blah blah, talk to me, and they were just being so mean. And
Yeah.
they're the ones who are like, well, what did they say? And I'll say, well, they said this. And they'll be like, okay, Jalein, it's not like they didn't mean it in that way. You're only receiving it because you're so hurt. And so they're like the people who are like in the outside perspective, outside of your little tunnel vision. And so yeah, that's why yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because that was such a good point of just having a good community around you, and but also not like invalidating your emotions. They're the ones who are like, okay, like, I know you feel that way. Maybe like sit in this for a little bit and then we'll come back,
Yeah.
And so
Accepting you the way you are, but also trying to guide you.
right. Loving you enough to make sure you don't stay there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. It's you, and then again, it's those people that a lot of times you'd even like on the worst of days, you're even mad at them. You push them away, you know?
Right, because you're just like, ugh, you're like in this pit inside of you, and you're like, how do I get out?
It's crazy. It's crazy this negative. It's like the magnets, the negative side magnets. The closer they get, the more they resist,
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like you're right there, but you're just like, no.
Yeah. And
That's
it's
psychological.
terrible.
I heard a quote that I really like that makes me think of what you're saying. It's not even a quote, actually. I'm the one quoting it from a podcast. But this guy, Duncan Trussell, that I really like listening to, he said, so yeah, I'm saying it in his words. He said, if being a shithead to people fixes them, then we would live in paradise.
Say that again.
If being a shithead to people would fix them, then we would live in paradise. Meaning, obviously, like, stop being rude to people. Like, the reason you're upset is because you're doing this,
Right.
It's the same idea as the change starts within me,
Right.
So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. It's like, you can't be mean to people and then wonder why things aren't great.
Exactly. And if you have people around you who are willing to, love, and there's a good way to correct, behavior, and like, certain things that people have done, like lovingly correct them, not make them feel, guilty or ashamed or condemned or anything like that. There's a way to say it. And if they are saying it lovingly, we just need to be able to just swallow our pride and just be like, you're right, I'm sorry, I should not have done that. But the problem is, a lot of times our humanness is just very like, no, I'm right, and I'm the king. And it's like, God, no, like, you need to, like, they're trying to help you. We just need to like grasp the concept that they're just trying to help, and they're not against you. They're not trying to attack you. They're not trying to like ambush you. But again, also on the other side of that, there is the correction, the proper way to correct somebody.
The proper way. Yeah, I'm glad you ended on that note, because actually that's what I wrote down, so I didn't forget. The proper way to correct someone, that is, I'd say, where I'm psychologically at right now. I think I'm good at picking up on behaviors,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd say I'm decent at controlling mine. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm decent at controlling my behavior. But where I'd say my issue is when I want to try to help someone, I'm not good at it. I'm super mean.
What do you mean? You're mean?
Yeah, so the right way to help is to not tell the idea, but to give a question in order for them to come up with the idea, and that way it's their own,
Right.
And I'm a teller. I'm a like, this is it. This is it. This is it. And they're just like, I know it doesn't help the 10th time. Oh, okay. This is it? Like, and I'll bash my head against the wall, and I'll keep doing it, and I'll keep doing it until I realize I gotta take a step back, ask myself the question, how would I like to hear it? How am I gonna respond?
Right.
And do all these steps around to finally reach. And I'm not good at it yet, but I'd say that's where I am psychologically right now, is where I can see that there's an issue that I want to talk about, but I'm not good at talking about it. I'll just say, there's an issue,
Right. Yeah. And also making sure that we don't tackle an issue through text because our tones are so different from the way they're reading it. So if ever I need to like confront any kind of issue or, bring something up that's like difficult to talk about, if I can't meet up with them in person or like FaceTime with them, I will send a voice memo because that way my tone is there, because I could be like, they're like, hey, do you want to hang out tonight? In my mind, I'm like, yeah, totally. And I forget the dang exclamation point. They're going to be, it'll sound like, yeah, totally. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, but I really am enthusiastic.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm even bad with that in person though. Like, yeah.
What do you mean?
Sarcasm. I'm not good with because I'd say I'm like a pretty sarcastic guy in just the sense that I like to use it. I don't need it. I just like to use it. But what I think of sarcasm is, hey, anything that obviously John wouldn't say is sarcasm, So if I was to say, Jalein, you look so bad today. You look like poop. You'd be like, okay, no, actually, I would say if I said you look like poop, that's like a nice way of saying it. If I was to say, Jalein, you look like garbage. You look like total garbage. You'd be like, okay, what's this? You couldn't take it serious. It's my sarcasm. And so yeah, it's like I'll say things, and I can't think of an example right now. But it's like we'll say like all our friends are talking about going to go get food, and I'll say, oh yeah, let's go get hot dogs right now. And then they're like, you want hot dogs right now? I'm like, oh yeah, let's totally do it. Okay, if you want it. I'm like, and then like, I don't know if I should keep selling the bit. So I'm like, oh yeah, I totally want it. And then it's just like, okay. And I'm like, and then I'll have to tell them like, guys, okay, I totally failed. I do not want hot dogs.
Yeah, you're already at the hot dog place and you're like, I don't even have money for it. Why did I suggest this?
Oh yeah, I have enough money for hot dogs. Okay. Yeah.
And I'll pay for everybody's. Wow.
For everybody, guys. And then I like look at the lady at the register. That was a joke.
Oh my gosh. Well, the thing is, like, you have never said anything mean to me, so yeah, I think that's why I would take it to my heart if you were like, you look like garbage. I'm gonna be like, or like, Jalein, I thought I told you to look good for this podcast. I'm like, I don't honestly, dude, I don't know what I would say. I don't know how I would react.
So that's what I've learned. That's what I've learned. I'll say burnt bridges. I've burnt bridges that way on accident.
Dang.
Being that, I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing about comedy. Comedy is all about writing that line. It's what can you get away with? What can't you get away with? Mm-hmm. And sarcasm is one of the hardest parts of comedy because you're literally like switching it.
Right.
And yeah, social cues, growing up for everywhere and all that. And so certain things just will come out. And I've learned that, I'll say this. I've learned that I really like teachers because I feel like teachers have dealt with a lot of different people and they learn what intent is. And it's like, okay, he said this, but what is he trying to say? What is his intention?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Other people just hear things and think they know. They're just like, got it. Like, it's like, okay, slow down. What did I say?
You said something about the
It's hot dogs. Let's go. I said I have enough money for hot dogs. Does that sound like something John would say?
Let's analyze this. Let's read the room.
So yeah, I feel like people who are teachers or just, I'll just say like that type of person, whatever type of person goes into teaching, is more, they can hear more the intent. They can hear more like what I'm trying to get across.
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, yeah, I'll talk to people who I can tell like it's like they take every word I say very literally. It's like you this word and this word specifically means this. And I'm like, okay, I misused the word. And it's like, you not understand what I was trying to say? Like that one word really just throw it into oblivion. You're like, no, no, no.
Context, people.
I'm a context guy, I guess. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. How many cups do you have? And the pink one, yep.
One's a soda, one's water. So it's a good
balance. Okay.
A good balance.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I told my mom the other day, I was like, guys, guess what? I went like 6 days without water. And they're like, Jalein, that's nothing to be proud of. Why are you so excited? I was like, no, I'm just saying that you don't need to worry about me not having water for like 3 hours. I've gone 6 days. And I actually want to take a picture. So last night I kept waking up because I kept having nightmares last night. I'm like, it's so annoying. So at 3 a.m., I was like, what will fix this? And so I went to the kitchen.
You got a hamburger?
I made myself a burger and I got some rice. And my mom like calls me and she's like, hey, you're in the kitchen for a long time. And I was like, yeah, I'm still making food. And she's like,
3 a.m.?
huh?
3 a.m.?
Yeah, 3 a.m. And I literally almost took a picture because I wanted to send it to you and be like, hey, look, I'm flying. But my mom was like, okay, well, you're taking a long time. I was like, yeah, well, I'm still making it. I have to put the burger together. And she's like, okay. And then she calls me again. And she's like, Jalein, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm eating now. And she's like, what are you eating? And I told her. And she's like, okay, well, now you can't sleep. You have to wait because you ate so much. And I'm like, well, I don't want to wait. I'm so sleepy now.
And wait, so what happened?
Like after I ate?
Yeah.
After I ate, I like fell asleep and then I had a nightmare again. So I got up and my mom's like, you need to like walk around. And I'm like, I'm too tired. And oh my gosh. And like today we had lunch and she's like, she was thinking like, she was probably thinking I wasn't going to eat a lot because I ate a lot last night. And so for lunch, she brought this whole thing of rice and I just like kept piling it on. And she's like, is that just for you? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, I as a woman who is looking out for my like figure would never. And I'm like, but I'm just hungry. And like my cheeks are just full of rice.
She's what?
But that's why I don't drink water, is because I think it'll waste space. That's why I don't, like, I eat everything first and then I take a sip of water at the end to get the liquid.
Do you not like water?
It's not that, like, I know I'm supposed to have it. So, but I'll save it for later. Okay, Giancarlo. There's just one time I didn't mean to say, I think I was just really hungry. I was at a restaurant with some friends and I'm like, can I get this and this and this and this? And they're like, oh, did you want some water? And I literally said, and I pray to God that I didn't come off as rude. I think I was just hangry, but I was just like, oh, you mean the space waster? No, thank you.
I like how you're like, to all water enthusiasts, I love water. Like that.
But my friends are like, she'll have a water, and because they were looking out for me, but I really didn't need it.
The space waster.
It is.
You would get along famously with my stepdad, who is Filipino, mind you. So, yeah, I don't know if that's a Filipino thing. You guys just love to eat or something. It's food. It's like, no drinks. I don't want drinks. I want food.
Yeah, I don't know. Because my family loves water.
I'll tell you a quick quote of Nelson. He said to me when I last was in Wenatchee, so like a year ago, he says, I think the Germans got it right. we were at lunch and he's like, I think the Germans got it right. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, right. That's a deep sentence. That's a strong start. And then he's like, when they would eat until they were full, and then they would go outside, induce vomiting, and then come back inside and eat more because they truly enjoy their meal. They enjoy the flavor of the meal. They understand it's not about the digestion of the meal, it's about the taste and the flavor. So I will gladly throw up in order to be able to continue to eat.
That is wild.
Yeah,
Is that real? They really did do that?
well, I did not research it, but these are his words, yes. I know, right? I've been dealing with some people who like, did you look that up? Did you quote that? Where is that? Can you spot that? And it's just like, incredible sources. I can cite them, but no, currently not.
That is crazy. If that is real, that's crazy. But I mean, there was a point in my life when I was intentionally trying to lose weight just so I can eat more. And I found out later, like, oh, if I just like walk a couple miles, then I can eat whatever I want. I don't have to like try to starve myself. I just love food so much. Like I'm not a fan of like fancy bags, fancy like, name brands. If like food is where it's at.
So actually, that's cool because like, well, that's really interesting because most of the time you ask people like interests, right? And like food is like an interest everyone has, right? Who doesn't like it? It's like, I don't like food. I try to stay away from it.
Like, I've met people though who are like, I eat food because my body needs it, not because I enjoy it. And I'm like,
do you think they were trying to sound cool, or were they
probably,
or were they like almost anorexic?
I think they were just probably trying to sound cool.
Yeah, that sounds like a cool thing to say.
Yeah, if like you said, what are your thoughts on da da da? Well, what is a thought? Hold on, that's not what I asked.
Yeah, it's like how I used to annoy teachers. Like I would like they'd be going really deep into a subject and like, question, what is science? And it's my science teacher, and it's the whatever teacher you have, ask them like that question, like what is math to a math teacher, what is algebra to an algebra, because there's a reason they're teaching it. They like it. They like to talk about it. So then you catch them on a catch-22. They're like, want to tell you, but why are you asking? Like, is it just a pastime, or are you curious? I'm very curious about science. I've gotten a couple teachers like that.
I can just imagine you being like, yes, Giancarlo, am I awake?
Yeah. You have to like ponder it for a moment, like you're trying to figure out how to tell the teacher,
yes,
what is life? And then just I'm like, huh? I always say, I love teachers. Like I try to find teachers because I feel like I connect to them, and teachers love me, but not as a student.
Okay, I feel that.
We connect even in school. Did you ever have a Hitchcock?
No, but I heard he's really cool.
He's really cool. You heard correct. I had Hitchcock, and he pretty much told me flat out, like, I really like you, just not as a student. Get out. And he kissed me.
What is life? Giancarlo, we're about to go on a field trip. Why are you getting on the bus?
Holding the door, like I'm like in the middle of the door, like of the bus. What is it to even be here?
The concept of time. What is it?
How about you contemplate it there, and then like pushes me out. I remember Mr. Hitchcock.
So funny.
You know when like it's 5 minutes before the bell's gonna ring? What do you do?
Mhm. Start packing up.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
And he would get so mad. He's like, you'd see people start to like grab their stuff, you know, move.
And they say the
No.
bell doesn't release you, I release you.
Yeah. No, they get, and he's like, if you even start to pack up, oh, like he was so mad. And one day, he just says, if I hear one more zip, and I just go, and I grab my zipper on my pants.
Stupid.
And I just go, zip, 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 zip. Like, no. I'm serious. I just go up and down, like back and forth.
For Hitchcock's class?
Yup.
What did he say?
Oh, I think I got him to laugh. I'm pretty sure he started I'm pretty sure he did the like he saw me and he went like one,
Okay.
yeah, and then I stopped. And that's what it always was. Teachers loved me. They knew that I knew and I was awake, but I just didn't give a fuck about school and the system.
For sure, yeah. You had senioritis the second that you stepped into like your freshman year.
They just see me. Wait, what'd you say one more time?
I said you had senioritis like the second that you stepped into like your freshman year. You just didn't want to be there already.
Yeah. My dad always said that about me and the Nallen family is we're number one, we're late bloomers. He loves to remind me of that.
What do you mean you're late bloomers?
Late bloomer, meaning like, you know, I like the quote like all fruit ripens at its own time. Right?
You quote that?
Well, that's a quote, right? So meaning that like it takes certain people mature different at certain times in their life. You know, I'm a late bloomer. The flower blooms late on this one.
I know, but do you mean like puberty or maturity or what do you mean?
Oh, yeah, I'm still going through my puberty. No.
Welcome to the Giancarlo podcast.
Welcome to the Giancarlo show. I think he means what we would today call woke.
For sure.
Today what you call woke is when you feel like you're officially an adult. You know, you kind of see what's going on, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'd say he's saying like, you're a late bloomer. You're gonna be child for a lot longer than other people. But it's gonna smack you so hard, and then you're gonna go, "Oh, I get it." Like, so I think.
I think I'm the same way.
Yeah, well, that's also like a creative thing. Where, would you consider yourself a procrastinator?
Yes.
Yeah. So, known that the creative mind and the procrastinator mind are the same mind. They the person that wakes up in the morning, the go get up and go do it, you know, and they already took care of all their activities by like 10 a.m. and you and I are waking up, you know?
Yeah.
They are not seen as to be as creative. Because
I guess I'm a little bit of both, but I am more of a procrastinator. Like I love waking up in the morning to like early in the morning to like catch a sunrise and like read and journal and pour my heart out and stuff like that. But then there are those days when I'm like, I deserve to sleep in today. And so I just like delay everything. So I think I'm a little bit of both.
Good. No, you're in the perfect middle. You're vibing. You're listening to yourself, you know, and that's important. Kind of like, I'm gonna go for a jog today, but you know, I kind of deserve a break today. So it's like, you do you. That got me thinking of something else. What was I just saying?
Oh my God, I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's okay, because that got me thinking of have you heard of a guy, and I'm not talking about him like I know a lot about him, but have you heard of a guy named Ram Dass?
Mm-mm.
He's like a philosopher, so people would listen to him. He actually just passed away last year, very sad. But he has a quote which has really been hitting me really hard. And it's super simple, and it's just be here now. Just be here now. And a lot of the times we ask ourselves, like, why am I here? What's my purpose? What's going on? And it's like, you just need to remember, like, just be here now. Like,
Right.
and that's what I really heard with you right now when you're saying, like, yeah, sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. And it's like, good. You like, that's you
Mhm.
into your body. That's you sometimes going with the flow, not forcing it, you know? And it's good to have that push. And I do remember where we were going about the procrastinator and the non-procrastinator.
Mm.
It's good to have that push, but it's also good to be connected to that flow, be connected to yourself, like go with the flow, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, I've had to like a lot of things. It took me a long time to get to that mindset because like last year, like this time last year, I on my days off, I would only get 2 days off. I think I told you this before. Um, the whole 2 days I would set up like coffee dates with people who are, just doing life and they're like, I want to meet up and just, talk to you about this and like kind of pour their hearts out. And each like coffee thing is about like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I would have like 6 in a day and then the next day take on another like 5 or 6. But the thing is, and then I wonder why I'm like, man, I'm like so exhausted. But I knew that like being there for people and being able to help them, and even if I'm just a listening ear, it refreshes my soul. But mentally and physically I was drained, but in my mind I was like, no, 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 this will refresh me. It did for my soul, but everything else I was just like drained in the other realms. And my friends would tell me, and even like when I'm like praying, I could feel God telling me like, you need to just sit down. And I'm like, but I want to help the world. And he's like, you're not me, you need to
Yeah.
just, like you said, like be here now. Whatever you're doing right now, it's your day off. Rest, do a good job in that. And so yeah, it took a lot because there are times I'm like, okay, I'll put on a movie, but while the movie's playing, I have my laptop in front of me, and I'm like, I'm gonna write a book on how I can help people on da 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 on this based on experiences I've had, so that they don't make the same mistakes. Da 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 da. But it's still, my brain is still going, thus not giving me rest. And so, yeah, it took me a long time to finally listen to my body, and I feel like that's even a podcast on its own, like learning to listen to yourself.
Mhm.
And but yeah, took me a long time to not like feel guilty, not shame myself. Like if I overslept on my day off, I would always condemn myself and be like, oh my gosh, like why did I not wake up in time, blah 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 blah. And so it's just learning to forgive yourself and giving yourself grace, and just being like, hey, you were tired, so it's okay that you like overslept on your day off.
Yeah.
So
Learning how to, like I was saying, that's kind of what I'm dealing with right now. Like learning how to like address the issue in a nicer way, you know? Because yeah, we could, as people, we're problem solvers. We seek out issues and
yeah.
we're good at it. And then we'll beat ourselves up like, oh, why am I not perfect? Because we got in our heads that somehow we could be. And it's like, okay, well, you can't. So just see the issue, do your best, and move on, you know?
Right,
I,
right.
uh, I grew up in a family where they had a line. I was told a few times, don't try, do. And I hate that. Because I think it really, I think it, I think it almost embodies that perfectionism where it's like, if you're not gonna be perfect at it, why are you even trying to do it?
Right.
What's that famous one? Adventure Time, where he says like sucking at something is the first step at being good at something.
Yes, bro. I love that show.
Oh yeah.
That should be dropping some wisdom nuggets.
Oh
I
yeah.
love nuggets.
Now I'm gonna write that note down. I'm gonna tell you about something. Hold on. But yeah. Okay, written down. And now I lost it. Where was I?
You were saying the first it's second at something is the first step of being good at something. That one?
Yeah. First step, being good. Yes, I just don't like the perfectionism. Like I feel like it really defeats you, you know, where when you tell yourself like, hey, I did my best, I'm gonna walk away. Really, when things don't go my way nowadays, I almost get happy about it and say, whoa, look at me try. Like, dang, like these podcasts, these first one and second one, like, oh, these podcasts are nowhere near what I want them to be. Like I have so much in my mind that like I have an expectation for myself, you know?
Yeah.
But hey, look at me try. Dang, I don't mind that. I
Yeah.
don't mind the attempt.
Yeah. And it's like a self reflection thing. Like, did you really try? Because you have to really, really do your best, not just be like, well, that was my best. Was it?
Yeah.
Was it? Because it'll really show. It'll like, I think you're the one who told me this. You were like, people are not dumb. Like they know what's going on. So they'd be able to tell if you gave 50% of your efforts, but you're like, well, that's my best. When really you could have pushed a little bit more. Like people will see that.
Exactly. Yeah. You can a lot of times see it from like a mile away too. You know, it's like that person looks untrustworthy. I don't know why, but there's something about them that I just feel like, but then there's other people where you almost see it's like you want to follow them. It's like they just have this head on their shoulders, this stature, this walk. And yeah, it's like, and about the people not knowing, I mean, people, yeah, it's like, I think it was like anyone who's ever lied thinks that they were able to trick the whole world. And it's like, they don't realize like you're at the same intelligence as other people. So they know, like, it's like,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of them looking and also I've heard this, they're always watching, and not in like a weird way, not in like you have eyes on you all the time. But you know how like everyone's a critic? Everyone's always watching. Everyone's just always like judging. Everyone likes to judge. And it could be good, it could be bad, but it's interesting because that's what I'm proud of with the attempt. Because when I just do an attempt, people are gonna start watching, and then people are gonna start picking up on this and that, and I'm like, hey, it's getting the ball rolling, you know.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like that's why I don't even try to be perfect because I know that I can't. I feel like I'm a mess. But people, I don't know. I feel like by being imperfect and embracing the imperfection, people are like, "Oh my gosh, she's a real person." People have told me they never thought that I ever had a bad day.
Yeah, no, I could see that about you, and I can see people saying that to you, and I wanted to say that to you just now. You have such a glow that you think you're like, well, that must be 24/7.
No, I cried the other day. I'm just kidding. No, but for me, I definitely do have bad days, especially during this transition. It hasn't been the easiest. Moving from Texas to California, and it's like an out of nowhere thing. When I was in Texas, I just like felt the Lord tell me, go to California. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, am I there to visit? What's going on? And I just got this feeling of like, you just go. I'm like, okay, then I'll just leave my stuff here. So I left all my furniture and things over there, got here, and it wasn't until 2 months later I had this dream that kind of confirmed, gave me like, I felt a lot of peace about it, of like, this is what it needs to be done. And it was like the whole, you're here permanently. And so it was hard to accept that, because I'm like, man, did I get tricked? You know, like just being super real and being open. I'm like, man, did like God trick me? I know like he doesn't, but I'm like, I wish he gave me a heads up. I didn't even get to hang out with my friends. I didn't even like get to say bye. It was this of like, I'll see you guys later. I'm going to visit. And then I'm here. Psych, you're here forever. And I'm like, you know, and it has just been a lot, but I do have a lot of peace in being here, because like now I get to, you know, we're getting to do this, and I'm getting to like be with family and help my brother with his nephews for their school and stuff. So it's bittersweet, but oh no, I forgot the point of this. What were we talking about?
I
was like, dang.
I wrote down the jarring change, because you said there was a big change when you moved here. And then, yeah, I wanted to start talking about that. So, sorry.
Dang, I forgot. No, it's okay. Well, if it comes back to me, I'll bring it up again.
The jarring change, yeah. I mean, when not only is it a jarring change in your life, and obviously any change in your life can just be so dramatic, you know? But yeah, when you literally just get uprooted and you don't even know why, and then the first location and the second location are so different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a lot of people realize how hard of an adjustment that is.
Yeah.
I think like a lot of people really felt it with coronavirus, where you kind of get like, hey, I don't want to stop my regular life. And it's like, too bad. Like,
right.
yeah. And every time I've ever moved, that's exactly been it. It's like, hey, I was enjoying that. And it's like, sucks for you. Like, time to go. But what I learned, the two things I learned, number one, make change work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Change is gonna happen in life. You can't stop change.
Mm-hmm.
When you see change, figure out how to jump on and turn it into a positive.
For sure. Yeah.
I like that one. And another one, which I'm learning right now as well, is with my mom. She told me this. My mom's so classy. Like that's where I don't know how to do that. My mom and I think exactly the same. We're the same person. The main difference is I'm like my dad, and so obviously we're dudes, and it's bleh, you know. My mom is just classy and cool and just has this like stature. But the way she walks away from stuff, the way she can fail at something and then just pick up and walk away almost as if she didn't fail, it blows my mind. And I asked her how she does it, and she just says like, at each time in your life you reach a point where you know what you're doing now, right? And sometimes that's over, and you have to take, what she does is that she takes a moment and appreciates it. She says, so for example, for you, Texas, you did a lot for me there, and I learned a lot and I grew a lot, and I really appreciate this. But no, and thank you, Texas, but it's time for me to move. It's time for me to go somewhere else and grow and do other things. So goodbye. And that's been really strong for me, because a lot of times like it's hard to walk away from stuff, but because when you walk away you think, oh, I'll never see it again, I'm saying goodbye forever. But it's a lot easier to say thank you.
Right. That's so good. Yeah. It's not like it's not like I'm not gonna visit, you know. Yeah. But I guess it was I remember what it was. It was like not having people thinking I don't ever have a bad day. So like even going through the whole thing, what I do is if I'm like feeling really, really overwhelmed, I pull out my journal and I just start writing to God. Like, I'm like, Lord, I know you already know what I'm feeling, but I'm going to write it down anyways. Here's how I feel. This is what I wish. This is my hopes, and these are my prayers, and just pouring it all out. And sometimes, bro, I'm writing and tears are just coming and they're like on the paper, because I'm like, who am I going to get mad at? Like, it's nobody's fault. And, you know, it's not it's not my fault. It's not my roommate's fault. And because there's a lot of like financial stuff we had to handle, but there's no one I can blame. But it's like, it's just trusting. But anyways, as I'm like journaling and stuff, and there's like tears all over the pages.
Yeah.
It's crazy because after I do that and I just take like an hour of just sitting there and just journaling, just pouring it all out to him. Because I don't know if I've told you this, but I was researching every time I'm done crying, I get sleepy. And I'm like, why do I get sleepy? And so I Googled it as I'm crying, bro. I'm like, I want to know why I'm getting tired. But it turns out, yeah. And so it turns out that there are like hormones or chemicals, and like they're like, I don't know what the scientific name is, but they're like the sadness. They are when the brain is producing the hormones, the sad hormones, they come out through the tears. They're excreted through the tears. And so when we let it out, that's why crying is good. You know, you just let it hit you and just cry. But when it's let out, your brain starts producing happy hormones, and then your body starts to release this like relaxing, almost like sleepy type of thing. Like hormones. That's why after you cry, you're like, oh my gosh, that felt good. But now I'm like, I'm tired. And you know, and it's your way of like for me, I feel like it's God's way of being like, okay, now that you've given it to me, you can rest now. Like it's good. And so I'm like, so just learning to embrace that has helped me. Has helped me. But I think that maybe that's why people don't think I have bad days, is because I just pour it all out in secret. But when I face them, I'm not being fake. I'm genuinely like, I've let it all out, you know?
I think that's why I'm not telling you to go to therapy, but I think that's why therapy is good, because people don't have that journal. Some people can't connect like that.
Right. Everyone has their own like thing.
Yeah, their own medium, their own way. And yeah, I think therapy is one of those things where, yeah, you just kind of talk to someone about all.
Sure.
I think it's funny how you literally, so you were saying you literally cry the sadness out. Like,
yeah. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Like, no, if you're sad, you cry, because that's how, so they keep it all in. And that's why I'm like, kids, I don't know, kids shouldn't be told, no, you stop crying right now, you're being a baby. Like I'm like, hey, if they're sad, like let it out. You don't want that all bottled up. I think when I've tried so many times to bottle up feelings and not cry, because I'm like, this is not the place, I'm in public and I just can't. Your body will choose the time for you to let it out, and it's in the most inconvenient time, but it's like you've exploded by that time. Yeah, I think it's good to release.
I didn't hear what I talked over you. What'd you say? What was the last part?
Oh, I was just saying that, but that's why it's like, personally, I think it's important to cry. It doesn't make you less of a person. Like, it doesn't make you less of a man. If you're, you know, I feel like it's healthy. It's healthy to embrace the feeling and just let it out, because you have to get past that so that your brain can start making the happy hormones.
Yeah, it's such a it's such a normal part of life that it's silly to even think that it's like something weird or negative or bad. It's just an emotion.
You'd be surprised though, because like being like, I love how open you are, and you're like, oh my God, I remember when I was like depressed. I'm the same way. I can bring it up like that, and you know, being healed from that, I'm able to bring it up and hopefully help someone who's going through that. But I realized just because I'm like that doesn't mean everybody is, because I was at work one time and we were talking about something. It's like, oh my gosh, yeah, one time I was dealing with anorexia and everyone just like tense. I'm like, oh no, I'm okay now. But then everyone was all tense and I'm like, no.
Yeah, you like threw off the moon or something.
I know. I was like, dang, I was just trying to share a story.
Let's see. I know I have a ton of those, but yeah, I'd say one of my main things is that I'll like randomly bring up like, haha, childhood trauma, haha, and like, and so like, I'll like be hanging out with my friends and they'll say a story and I'm like, that reminds me of, and I'll say something traumatic. Like I'll say something like when something in my childhood and they'll be like, do you want to talk about that? I'm like, no. I was just trying to connect. I'm fine with that. I'm like, it sucked. I can admit that, but it's done. Like,
yeah. But not everyone has that same mindset. I'm like, oh man, I gotta learn to like, I guess read and like discern how people are feeling. Because sometimes I get excited about just being able to relate and bond with people. Because I hate surface talk. I don't like it. I understand sometimes it is necessary for like if you're at a bus stop or something like that. Hey, how are you? But then I also like to get deep, you know. So, but not everyone is like that. They probably keep things kind of locked up, and so just learn to respect that.
I'd say a lot in America, there's not a lot of trust. And when you just talk to someone like on the bus, for example, as you said, they don't know if they can trust you or not. They're like, I feel like their first thought is like, I feel like most people want to open up. Like most people like want to, but they just don't know like who they can or can't do it to. And I feel like you and I are like people who like, you guys decide who can or can't take it, not me. You know, if you
right.
Like, it's kind of like, it's one of those things where it's like shutting yourself down. It's like flirting with a attractive person. You shut yourself down before you even say anything, you know? And
oh, you read my mail.
what?
You read my mail. If I see someone like attractive, I get so like, oh, they're too cute. I'm gonna go this way. Like I just shut down.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
even say hi.
People do that. It's like you get caught like a what's it called, a deer in headlights.
Yes.
And I'm gonna pretend as if I remember what I was saying. Headlights.
Bro, we're the worst.
No, you're talking about going deep in subjects.
Yes,
yeah. And that's the thing is that like totally the same guy. I love to like, I'm very analytical. I like to like dive deep, but then just jump right back out and go, that was fun. Yeah, I think it's like you and I in a conversational sense, have no problem hitting on the attractive person.
Like, like in because of our personality, or what?
Well, okay. I'm not saying literally we will hit on the attractive person. That is not who we are. We don't have that personality. You and my personality, we're more talkative. We're more expressive. Our personality is the type that has that confidence, is what I'm saying, is that we will go to anybody and we will talk to anybody about anything, you know? It doesn't mean that us as people, we don't get nervous around other people. It just means that our personality is that type. I mean, again, I'm analyzing it, you know?
For sure. No, for sure. Yeah. No, I get you. Yeah, I just don't think I would be, you're right. My personality is not the type that would just like randomly go up to somebody. Oh, I can't do it.
And just start talking.
I feel like you could though. No?
You do that? But, what you're saying, you said you don't like small talk, but like, what if, some random person in the bus was just like, but you can't start the conversation is what you're saying?
No.
Yeah, I do not. Okay. All right. I'm totally gonna put myself on blast. It is easy for me to start the conversation, but only when I feel like there's an obvious advantage or disadvantage. If I feel like you and I are too close in, I'll say, social status, that's when I start to feel threatened, and then that's when I start to shut down, and then I will not open up. I mean, not like I'll open up, but I won't start the conversation, you know?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But yeah, so if I see a girl who is like way hotter than me, like just out of my league, you know, not going to be afraid to talk to her because I don't have a chance. What am I losing? What am I missing out?
Bro, you know who you are? You're John Krasinski. Do you know who that is?
The name sounds very familiar.
He is, do you watch The Office?
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen a few amount of them.
He's like the tall, handsome guy.
The main one?
Not Steve Carell, but one of the main ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen
Who's like always dating?
Quiet Place?
Who's like always dating that one chick? Like they always have the fling.
Yeah. Him.
Okay, so I haven't seen enough to take that as a compliment or an insult.
No, but like him as a person, as not as an actor, but as a person, he said that when he first, because I think Ellen or he was on a show and they asked him, how did you start dating your wife, who is like Emily Blunt, like the super like gorgeous like model, you know? And he's like, here's the thing, I knew I had no chance, so I just like went for it. And instead of taking her on a date where we're gonna go to a restaurant, I told her I'm gonna take you to a gun range. That way, if you're like you're not feeling it, you have an out. Like you're like, I'm afraid of, I don't know what that date was. Like, no, I'm giving you an out. But she ended up loving it, and they are like one of my favorite couples, like the world's favorite like couple ever. But yeah, he felt the same exact way. He's like, I'm just gonna screw this up right away.
Yeah, and so so you're just like, you're more willing to try crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like literally that is who I am. You totally called it. You totally called it. Like, because I was not only I was literally told that. Like, it's like, hey, on your first date, you're ever taking a girl out, obviously you want it to be unique, that she remembers you, but as well as give her an out. Nobody wants to feel like locked in your house.
Obligated, you know? Yeah.
And so, but I would never think gun range, because my thought would be like, where are you going? Like, so it's
but
like,
she was down, and he's like, great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're perfect. That surprises me though. I mean, no. That doesn't surprise me that you're like, I just never thought you'd be the one who would like, I mean, would you say you're shy? Because you said earlier, like, you wouldn't start the conversation, or like, would you?
If the person, this is where I'm like throwing shade at myself, like putting myself on blast. Like, if I feel like the person is way more attractive than I am, I'm not nervous. If I feel the person is way less attractive than I am, I'm not nervous. Which is where I get upset at myself, because, you know, that's a judgmental thing. You're judging them on their looks. That's not good, but it's just who I am right now. But if I feel like the person is kind of within my range, within my zone, right? So let's say I'm a 6 and I think they're a 5 or a 7, or they're within the 5-7 range, right? I get nervous. I don't want to. I don't want them to think I look like an idiot. If a person way hotter or cooler than me thinks I'm an idiot, huh?
Like a 10, like if a 10 per se.
Yeah, like if a 10 thinks I'm an idiot, it's just like, well, 10s are gonna think down on 6s all the time, so I don't care, you know. But if like a 6 looked at me and was like, "Are you sure you're not like a 4?" Oh, like that would hurt so much more. That would be so much more painful. That's
because you're like, no, we're the same.
Yeah. And it's like, are you a 4? Like, I get offended.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. That makes sense. I don't know. Man, I don't know. For me, I don't know what.
I do want to defend myself and say I was using the word looks, but it is not just looks. I am trying to say, like, you know, like
just an overall thing.
Yeah, like an overall social, like, okay, you seem to uphold yourself this way, you know.
for sure.
Because that's the thing. Very pretty girls look very bad when they have bad attitudes. So it's like, yeah. So it's
The
like,
look can only get you so far. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
it's but you know, it's one of those things where you kind of realize like, oh, I guess that's where you're at now. You're enjoying your looks, and you know, to be honest, I'm jealous. If I had your looks, I'd probably enjoy them too. But it doesn't mean that you're not going too far, you know.
Right. I told you about that one time. This was like years ago. This was like 2013 when this super cute guy, popular guy from high school, asked me on a date, and it went well. And he was like, "Let's go on a second date." And I was like, "Okay." Did I tell you this story?
Yeah, I don't remember where it's going, but you did.
Okay, and then so it was like he's like,
I
"I'll pick you up Saturday," and I was like, "Okay." He's like, I'll come by." This was when I was like still living in LA, and he's like, "I'll come by your house or whatever at noon." Bro, 12:30, he's not there yet, and I got all dolled up, and he never
makeup already come down.
he never showed up. And then like 2 years later, he's like, "How about that date?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "First of all, you stood me up." And he's like, "LOL, did I?" Bro, get out of here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like the person who I once was like, "Oh, dreamy guy." I don't care about it. I don't care about the looks now.
Yeah, the attitude really just killed it, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't know where I was going, but I put, he's a jerk. That's what I remember. I remember like, I was like, yeah, he like, I thought, yeah, he like just left you on a date or something, or
Yeah, he stood me up, yeah.
yeah, didn't never picked you up, and then has the audacity to be like, oh, what's up, girl? And this is like, excuse me,
Like 2 years later.
that's.
I'm like, "You're a little late." But you know what we should have done though? I should have been like, "Let's meet at this restaurant." That way, if I go and I get stood up and the waiters see it, they might bring me like food and not have me pay for it.
I'll totally play the pity card.
Yeah.
You start.
Can I have some onion rings?
They're like, ma'am, your photo's on the wall. You can only do that so many times. Oh wait, this, oh yeah, you're like in this. Okay, and you're like,
Can I get it to go? No, you can't. Get out of here.
half, just cutting it.
Oh yeah, looks can only get you so far, but that's why. Okay.
Oh.
I don't know, my dog. Honey, no, none of that. Okay, let me ask you this. Put these in order.
Uh-oh.
Smartness, looks, like gorgeousness, and funniness.
Okay, so I have 3 girls in front of me, and they're all exactly the same, but one of them is ABC, intelligent, and then she's attractive, and then she's funny. The other one is CBA, so she's really funny, and then she's pretty intelligent, but she's not as attractive. BCA, right? I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
and then EAC. So she's gonna be very attractive, very funny, not that smart.
Yes. I just now realize how hard that is. Hold on a second. Don't ask me this question because I don't know.
When you're thinking about it, I'm gonna pretend like I'm judging you, but I'm thinking about it. Well, obviously,
It's hard.
nothing's written in stone. You know, I could easily take back my wait.
Yeah.
But the first thing that comes to my mind, the very first thing that comes to my mind is an old joke, which is you can't fix stupid. You know that one?
Yeah. Let me take it as I'm letting my dog out.
You're fine. Yeah, a comedian simply says like you can fix this about a girl, you can fix that about a girl, but if she's stupid, you're stuck with that, you know? So I would definitely say intelligence would have to be top 2, A or B.
Okay.
Now,
Hey, hold on. I'm sorry. Actually, if she's intelligent, we'll just add that she's also, because you have to be witty, to be funny. So how about we clump those two, you put those two together, and then the third one will be like caring and like genuine and stuff.
okay. Intelligent, attractive, loves me. Yeah, so I was like, would you rather have like a really hot, attractive girl, but
No, they can still love you, but like the level of caring and being intentional, blah 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 blah. Like they all love you.
I'd say like motherly. To me, I think motherly.
Yeah, like they care about, hey, did you eat yet? Da, da, da. There are some people who are not like that. They're like, they're fine. They're a grown person. So.
Dang. That's a better question than the first one.
I know. Okay.
Intelligence, attractive, and nurturing. Nurturing probably trumps all because it can really make up for a lot,
Right.
To me, nurturing and intelligence is, the foundation. And when you have a solid foundation, you can withstand an earthquake or two,
Mm.
But when you don't have a good foundation, if anything happens, you're effed up the beat.
Mm-hmm.
But what would be more important to me, intelligence or motherly or nurturing? I guess obviously it becomes like the question of how intelligent, because I don't want to be belittled. Like I don't want to feel like an idiot.
No, but they're like, I would say intelligence wise, like you guys would complement each other. It's not like you're belittled, you don't think, and vice versa, you don't belittle her, but you complement each other. Like you can, if you start a joke, she can like add on and,
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
like if you're researching about like psychology stuff, she'll be like, oh my gosh, I was looking that up too. And da, da, da. And it's like you share that same excitement and learning and stuff.
I feel like I do see the attractiveness going down. Not like doesn't it?
No, for me, I think mine is the last. That would be last too. For me, it would be caring, funny, and intelligence, and then looks.
I think it'd be the same. I think it would be caring, intelligence, and then looks. Mainly because if I want to be selfish, intelligence. Actually, no, if I want to be selfish, caring as well. No, yeah, caring would have to be first. Mainly because I'm a big baby and I'm a big child, so I need someone to take care of me. And also, I want to have kids. So if I date a woman who's not good with kids, or it's not a good family life, so it's like you want to think of that first, and then you want to think of yourself, and then you want to think of your guilty pleasures.
Right. For the longest time, I would always put funniness and intelligence first. But as you grow up, you're like, oh my gosh, the heart, you're like, it's important.
Well, yeah, I definitely, you know where this is going. Like when I was younger, it was definitely more looks. And the joke of when you ask me like, what's more important? Is it looks or intelligence? And I mentioned
I asked you what matters to you most, the inside or the outside? And you're like, oh, the outside. And I was like, Giancarlo, why are you you're so surface? And you're like, Jalein, hear me out.
Before you, yeah, my only logic to it's I don't want to wake up in the morning, first thing fresh, bushy eye, just like wait and just turn around, look at my beautiful, intelligent wife.
And be like, at least you're beautiful on the inside. That's what you told me. And I'm like, Giancarlo. But in a way that did speak to me, because I'm like, oh, okay, maybe attractiveness is like an important factor.
Sure. I think that's something that bugs me, is that I think a lot of people are afraid of, yeah, their downfalls. And I think I kind of embrace my downfall. And I think people see that as arrogance, like, oh, so you think you're hot shit because you care about that? And I'm like, no, I'd say I think I'm hot shit because I don't care about it, you know? Because I embrace the fact that I'm flawed. I don't
Right.
force that, like, what are you talking about? Show me how I'm flawed. You know, it's just like, it's a good amount. So yeah, I think what happens, you end up having this internal struggle in your own mind of like, do I care about that? Do I not? And I just go, yes, I care about that.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
then you got to ask yourself, why do I care? And that's where I'm at now. I do know that I care about certain things and I should or shouldn't, but now I'm trying to figure out, why do I care about that? Like, why does that feel important to me? You know?
Hmm. Yeah. And I think as we grow up, you just don't care as much, and not in like a mean way, but you're just like, it'll material things, they're all temporary, you know? So you start to kind of like embrace that concept more.
Yeah, you can play the best song on the worst guitar.
Ooh, that's good.
I literally just made that up. Uh, but yeah, it's interesting. Not, oh, lost it. Now I'm thinking of other stuff.
Dang it, though.
uh, play the best song and the worst guitar. And then yeah, obviously vice versa. Just because you have the best guitar doesn't mean you got the best song coming out. Man, I wanted to point something out on that. Well, I've been really having this idea of like learning how to enjoy the song, even if it's not your song or your part or your line. Learning how to, yeah, to be happy for others, or just like see the effort put forward, you know.
Hmm. For
um
sure.
but yeah, that makes me want to go into my you remember I talked about that whole string theory thing and the vibrations and all that, and the
Yeah.
that's totally like what it makes me think of where you just kind of like, that's why you connect to certain people, because it's like you guys are that chord.
Hmm.
You guys make a good sounding, you guys harmonize together. You guys
Hmm.
together. Not everyone vibrates together, not everyone harmonizes, and it's
Yeah, and that's okay. That's not like, doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't make the other person a bad person. It's just,
just doesn't harmonize. It's
yeah. And it makes me think also if like, and I feel like this also goes in the topic of like relationships, because I've had people, tell me, Jalein, I really like this person, but I feel like, I don't know, like, why can't we just be together even though we're like so different? But he doesn't like me, but I really like him, da da da. And then it makes me think of like, and then suddenly they think that there's something wrong with them. And I tell them, okay, think of this. And this is my brain going to like elementary mode again. I'm like, think of yourself as like chocolate cake, and they are like vinegar. Separately, they're amazing. You can use them for, you can eat the cake like this with ice cream and vinegar. You put that in certain recipes and it's amazing. Put them together, it's not going to work out, but that doesn't make them like less amazing, you know? And so I forgot why I said that again. Gosh!
she was asking about the relationships. She was
Yeah,
asking,
but what were you saying before that? Because I know that's what triggered the thought.
well, we were talking about, yeah, relationships.
Oh, I remember. It was like when you connect with certain people, sometimes you're not going to be able to, and that's okay. Doesn't make you a bad person.
Yeah, and I think it's really easy to fall into the bad habit of labeling things good, bad, negative, positive, when we don't realize like those are like human constructs. Like humans came up with good, bad, negative, positive, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so we are trying to put these labels that we created on these realistic life issues, you know? It's like, oh, it's so bad that we're not connecting. And it's like, it's not bad. You guys aren't supposed to connect. He's vinegar, your cake. You don't
Right.
You don't want that, you know?
Yeah.
Separately, you guys are phenomenal. So
For
yeah.
sure. And it reminded me also of like when you were talking about your mom, how you're like, how do you just drop something and walk away so peacefully? But it's knowing that the whole cake vinegar thing, you're like, oh, doesn't make us, I'm not a bad person. They're not a bad person. It's just, we're just not going to connect. And that's okay. I'll see you later, type of thing. And you still have this peace in your heart.
It'd be like trying to put a puzzle piece in like a puzzle and then it not fitting and you getting mad at the puzzle piece.
Right. You keep trying to make it work.
It doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit.
You just no matter how much force you just gotta lift up and find a different piece, you know?
Yeah. And there is that danger also of like, you start to mold the piece to fit but people will start to like change who they are to please the person, which is so unhealthy. But I think, like when people ask me like, how are you like okay with being single? And like, I'm like, first of all, I love romance. I'm a romantic girl. Like I love all the cheesy stuff, but I think for me, I love learning, and I believe that on my journey, I still have a lot of things to learn. Like, what are my likes? What are my dislikes? Because I want to make sure when I meet that person, I'm not trying to be like, I like that thing because you like this thing, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And so it's just being more self-aware. And like I told you, I think it was last week, I didn't even know that I'm the type of person who needs to like decompress after a long day, you know? And so a lot of just learning about yourself.
They call it like dating yourself, you know? It's
yeah.
Because when you're dating someone, all your love and your compassion goes towards them, and that's good and that's wonderful, but you forget about yourself, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you gotta learn how to be. Yeah, it took me a minute to learn how to be happy by myself. I definitely for sure used to define myself through my relationships, and that was a big mistake, because then when the relationship wouldn't work, I was left feeling like I was a failure. And it's I am much more than my relationship, you know.
Right. Yeah. It's not who you are.
It took me a long time to learn that. I really didn't understand that. And I see people today. And I'm like, ooh, you're defined by your relationship. You think this is your life, you know, and that's fine. Like, it's to each their own. Maybe they know something I don't, you know. But I do think that I know something they might not.
Right. And also making sure that you're like whole and you're not like a half and, oh, you're my other half. Like, no, get whole first, because first of all, that's a lot of pressure on the other person, you know, to be like, no, you're supposed to complete me. No.
And I made that mistake on relationships. I tried to complete myself through them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it puts tension on the relationship. And yeah, like you were saying, like you want to learn about yourself now and figure out these things now, that way you can take yourself to this person. But just know there's never going to be a finished Jalein.
I know that's something I have to like constantly remind myself.
Be here now. Enjoy this moment, you know.
And that's actually a good answer too for people who are wondering like, what am I on this earth for? What is my purpose? Like now, wherever you're at now, like for us, for example, doing this this podcast, this is our purpose for this moment, and we are to do our best and, you know, operate in this like spirit of excellence and doing our best. And then after that, whatever you're doing, whether it's doing laundry, don't just give it
do the best
50%. Right, exactly. And in that, then I think that's when you start to kind of stumble upon like, I guess, your grand purpose, you know. Exactly.
I know when the podcast started, I mentioned like, well, the reason I started the podcast is because I finally felt good about myself, number one. But number two was I felt like I knew how to get in my happy spot, and it was simply, just focusing on myself, like making sure I was okay, making sure that I'm doing what I want in order to be able to be at my best, in order to be able to be at the podcast and do my best, and then go do my laundry and do my best, because I'm taking care of myself. And if I don't take care of myself, I said this to you too, it's nobody wants $1 from a homeless person,
Right. Yeah.
If you can't take care of yourself, nobody wants your help. You got to do you first,
And you're so like drained from like trying to help people that, and you're like empty. What are you going to give to others? So it's not selfish to give yourself some me time and resting time and, learning and restoration type of thing, and allowing yourself to fully heal of like certain seasons. And then you can start helping people. Like, and me being a people pleaser, it took me a long time to be okay. Sometimes it's still hard for me to, like, if I'm like in rest mode, like physically and mentally, spiritually and stuff, and someone wants to like meet up and wants to like pour their hearts out, and I would love to be the listening ear, but it's the whole like listening to like what you need right now, like what your body needs, what your mind needs. And I have to say no sometimes, which is hard.
Yeah,
it's hard.
It is. And a lot of times they don't realize like it hurts you just to say no too, it's like, but yeah, it just has to be that way,
Yeah. Because I would have nothing to pour out if we met up and I'm like, I'm just tired.
Yeah. And I'm in a bad mood, I'm drained, I'm exhausted, and literally all I'm thinking is, what do you want?
Right. And I don't ever want to like be in that headspace. So yeah, it's a learning thing. That's something I'm still kind of working on.
It's also part of that perfection. We do want to be the best possible selves we can be, but we also got to realize it's impossible, which I wrote this down, so I'm glad this is transitioning pretty well, but it's still the same topic. When you were talking about the puzzle pieces and being our best selves, obviously I think we've all have felt the need to kind of morph us, like to the puzzle piece, to try to morph into certain things. And when like when you were saying with a relationship, you morph into this person that complements the relationship, technically that's not you, that's a version of you, that's a morphed version of you. And that's what and you tell yourself like, no, but I'm happy here and I'm good with this, and it's like, you're seeing life through a filter, and it's fine, but you don't have to, but I remember,
it's like an illusion, and meanwhile other people see it, and that's what makes it cringy.
That's true too. When especially older people, they just kind of let you do your thing. You just, all right, this is where you are now. But that's why I felt so good. Like, I actually want to take a breath right now. That's why I felt so good about this podcast. I didn't feel like I was morphing into somebody. I didn't feel like I had to learn something new. I'm learning a lot, but I didn't feel like I'm trying to morph this puzzle piece to fit this place. I feel like it's just started to fit super snugly, and I'm like, oh, this is comfortable. I could be myself.
And you can tell what someone's like purpose or calling is simply by like, you can just tell that they're a natural at it. Like I said, Jimmy Fallon, like he knows how to like control certain like atmospheres when it starts getting like, when the guest starts to like cuss up a storm, he knows how to like control it, because I think he has like a family show or something. But I feel like you are pretty natural with like interacting and transitioning and stuff like that. And It's just like a very natural flow. You can feel what you can feel when something is forced, and it's like, ooh.
Yeah, and I feel like definitely conversation's super hard, and certain times you are kind of forcing things. But yeah, you definitely want to be. It's kind of like a shaman, you know. You want to be there with someone who's done this trip 1,000 times. That way, you look at them and you're like, "Are you keeping your cool? I'm keeping my cool. Okay, I'm gonna keep my cool." Like,
Right. Like someone who kind of like a point of reference type of thing.
I've and it's a lot easier when you have a good guest. But yeah, when you have someone that you're just vibing with, I'm worried about the day that, well, technically I haven't had anyone on who, not even technically, I haven't had anyone on who I don't know, you know.
Oh yeah.
I'm nervous about the day that it's like, hey, you should interview my friend, and I'm like, and I welcome all oncomers, but yeah, it's gonna be like, that's gonna be the first day where we can't just talk about high school, you know.
Right. But also even like in the beginning, I don't know if it was if you mentioned it when we already started recording or if it was before that, but you had mentioned that you had been up all night, like, jotting notes and stuff like that. And that's how I know that this podcast really is your baby, is because if there was someone who was like, oh, interview my friend, and you're like, yeah, come on. You would like connect with that person and be like, so what are the things you like? That I know that you would do your homework in that to try to get a normal natural flow, like more organic flow going.
Yeah.
But if this was not your calling or your purpose, I feel like you'd be like, yeah, sure, bring him in. We'll just do this on the fly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No preparation, no passion. It's like give the people what they want, you know?
Yeah, and you'd almost expect the guest to do it. It's like, talk. And it's like,
Right.
isn't this your show?
Right.
Yeah, no, thank you. I do I have kind of like, I feel like I'm humble bragging or just bragging. But I have noticed that about myself these past couple days. Like, this has been taking a lot of my mental capacity. And I'm very drained, but I love every second of it. I don't want.
That's how you know, bro. That's how you know.
It's not dude. I'm not sure if I told you this already, dude. I think I did. I think I told you the other day, but yeah, my sister's podcast. I was up till 1:30 in the morning editing it. Then my computer crashed.
You did not tell me this, bro.
I thought I told you when we got burgers, but
no.
dude, but that's the thing. That's what I know. That's when I noticed, like, oh, I care about this differently than I care about things that I don't care about, you know?
Yeah.
That I'm trying to care about. Is that crashed? It hurt because all that work went away. But I was like, okay, just gonna have to do it again or find another way and then what I did is that I uploaded just my sister asked me to cut someone's name. So I did another quick edit. I just cut one person's name and then I uploaded it, you know? So I didn't get upset. And really, that would have really got me upset. I'll be honest. I do not have that patience.
Yeah.
That really should have gotten me pretty upset. But no, I was kind of like, okay, now what? What are we going to do? Because the show must go on.
For sure. Yeah. You just take like when it crashed, you were probably like, and then keep going and then just do it again.
Yeah, I had to walk away for a minute.
No, because when I'm editing like my skits and stuff, and it does that, like something freezes or something, I like have to take a mental break, take a breath, but then I'm always gonna come back and finish it no matter what.
Yeah, and that's the creative procrastinating mind, is the fact that we're willing to walk away and come back, which allows us to have different ideas. That's why we're connected. But yeah, no, I've been learning a lot.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And when I say learning a lot, I mean like I learn things the hard way. Like, and when I say the hard way, I mean like we learn through pain. when something hurts, that's when you go, oh, I shouldn't do that. That hurts.
Trial and error, yeah.
Yeah, so I've learned a lot of things the hard way, just like, oh, that was a big mistake. Okay. But yet, like I said, loving it, happy. I'm just tired, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I woke up in the middle of the night and I had to take down a note for something. Trying to see which one it was.
This is in the middle of the night?
Yeah. Oh, well, not in the middle of the night, as I'm falling asleep. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
It's kind of annoying. I actually don't want to go into it right now. I want to go into it if like, we don't have anything to talk about, you know?
Okay.
Like dude, speaking of which, OMG, I don't have a time. But we started what, like around like 4:10, 4:15?
Yeah.
It's already been 2 hours. And I'd say this has been the only moment where we've actually like taken a breath.
I know. But it doesn't feel like it.
It feels like 30 minutes, 35 minutes, like feels not like, yeah, like less than an hour.
I feel like, you know how like right now, like a lot of interviews on TV or whatever, it's all happening through this. I feel kind of cool.
Oh yeah, you feel like you're doing it. You're like, hey, I'm hip. You're here now. You're here right now. You're enjoying the moment, you know?
Yes.
And I'm not, because I'm talking about enjoying the moment. I'm like on a different moment. I'm enjoying
a different realm. I remember my sister was telling me about, this was like years ago, she decided to take a philosophy class, and she said she walked in, took a seat, and the teacher said, welcome everybody. First and foremost, I would like to ask you, how do you know that you're really here? And she's like, nope, got her stuff and left.
She was, I don't need it. This is either not meta enough or too meta.
Yeah. Yeah, or she got out of there.
Yeah, no.
That stuff, I'm like, I'd rather do my own type of research because I would think it's fun, but I don't know. It's just different when you're like in a class and they're like, we're going to analyze if you're dreaming right now. And I'm like, got a blast.
It's it makes me think of like acting classes. They say anyone who takes acting classes doesn't act.
What do you mean?
Because if you were a good actor, you wouldn't need to take acting classes.
What?
You never heard that?
I don't think that's true. But I feel like you would need to.
Give me a second. I want to see. Sorry, my computer started getting a little jumpy, I'll say.
Is it laggy?
Yeah. Uh-oh. Come on. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay, anyway, dang it, lost it. Do you remember?
Is it a philosophy class thing?
Yeah, the philosophy class, and then the acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, who would take an acting class? Someone who wants to be an actor, right? When you take people who want to be actors, 9 times out of 10 think they already got it. Think they're like, hey, I can pretend to be someone. So then they audition, right? The audition doesn't go well. They don't get the part, and they think, hey, I should take some acting classes. But that's normally like, so that's the thing, is that like most people, only 1 out of 100 people are going to get the role, and then the rest of the 99 are going to take acting classes, you know?
Oh, I get you. Okay.
So, yeah, that's
I thought you were saying that, like, I thought you were just saying that, like, Leonardo DiCaprio and all these people, like, never took classes because they're already, like, amazing. But I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure they probably took some.
No, yeah,
when they were young.
they totally do. Like a lot of time, and it's good to polish your work, hone your work. Um, it's I'll say gross representation of the industry, but a good joke. A good joke.
For sure.
Speaking of the industry, this will be the first time I've referred to my notes. Well, I mean,
I feel bad. We could have been doing that since the beginning.
what? No, that's amazing. Now, next time you come on, we have a whole page of notes that we haven't touched.
Oh man, okay. Because you
No,
came. I know you worked so hard to come up with those, and I'm just over here like talking about anything, whatever.
oh my gosh, are you kidding me? This is the best part. When we're vibing, they feel that. They feel like they're like, oh yeah, like the conversation's flowing. I'm enjoying the flow,
Okay, for sure.
And like, I mean, I've been taking like little notes. He's a jerk. Okay, these notes by themselves, and I didn't even say he's a jerk. Be comfy here. Looks. Podcast. Tree racism.
Tree racism?
I wrote it down, but we didn't get to go into it. We talked about other stuff.
Okay.
But I was thinking the other day about, because you mentioned, oh yeah, like the cake and the olive oil or whatever, the vinegar.
Yeah.
It's like people like to put these human constructs of good and bad on non-human things, I've always thought of it in the sense of like, I like to think of space and the stars. And it's like when two planets collide and there's death and destruction, is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's nature. It's not, it's balance. It's just what happened.
For sure, yeah.
When you try to label it as positive or negative or good or bad, that's where your confusion comes, because you don't realize that you're taking a human concept and applying it to a natural concept. It's not human.
For sure, yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's generally where like racism comes from, is we see difference in people. We're like, okay, that person's white, that person's black, that person's Mexican, that person's Asian. And that's obvious. That's true. You can't take that away, But then we ask ourselves the question, what's good, what's bad, who's right, who's wrong? And we don't remember that these are artificial constructs, that these are not real things, that they are humans, just the same way, like it's just nature, And so my idea was, anyone who ever said anything racist, I feel like I can just say, so like Hitler, Nazis, there's a master race, right? Is there a master tree? Is there like one breed or type or species of tree that is the best tree?
Yeah.
There's no best tree. There's trees that are good for producing wood. There's trees that are good for producing shade. There's trees that get really tall, trees that are short, trees that have food. There's no master tree.
No, yeah, that's really good.
And so I feel like if you look at it through that lens, if like, okay, if you want to say these people are good or those people are bad, let's apply it in nature. What trees are good and what trees are bad? And watch them. What are you talking about? And I'm like, well, that's what you're telling me. You're telling me like, oh, they're good because they're white and they're good because they're Mexican or something like that, And it's just like, okay, well, I don't think it really applies in the grand scheme, because yes, you're correct. Yes, you're correct that is a very tall tree, but it's the master tree.
Right. You know what I find is so funny when people say, well, I don't see color. Yeah. I am colorblind. No, but like but it's I feel like with everything going on, we're starting to like learn more and be more aware. So I think of like the whole, like race and like so many things going on in the world. But I think now we should just start saying, a long time ago we should have started saying this, but not saying, oh, I don't see color, but saying I do see color and I respect that color, you know? Because you're not going to be like, you're Mexican? I had no idea. No.
No, you think people aren't like that, but I've witnessed it. Dude, who told actually, do you have anything else to say?
No, that was it.
I was actually this last girl that I was like flirting with or whatever. We hung out a couple times and she
Is this recent? What do I not know about this?
It's just it was Tinder, so it's like not a real relationship, but you definitely bond.
Hey, watch her be watching this and she's like, I thought what we had was real.
Yeah, she meant absolutely nothing to me, and no,
Go ahead and edit this out.
I'm interested. That'd be interesting. That's an interesting idea because I do post this stuff to Instagram, and we're still on Insta, but the main thing that happened there, like her and I actually did vibe pretty well. She was very naturey. She was very at one with nature,
Mm-hmm.
but I was not in the right mindset. And she called me out on it. She was like, I think you should come back to me when you have I don't remember how she worded it, but like your shit straight, because you could tell that, yeah, I was not in the right mindset. Don't know why I brought her up.
Gosh dang, what were we talking about before?
It'll take us, it's not going to take long, but we'll remember.
It'll come back later.
Why did I bring her up? No. Oh wait. I have notes. Dumb. It was the racism. It was the lenses.
Oh, okay.
She said the words, oh yeah, I don't see color, and like it caught me off guard because like I look at her and I'm like, I'm not sure if she's joking or not, or if there's more to it. Like, I don't see color, I see intent or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she's just like, no, I don't see color. And I told her, and I was like, well, they do. Like, and like, maybe not the best way to say it, but yeah, I instantly was like, well, all those people that you don't see that they have different color skin, they see that you have different color skin. Like,
yeah. And also they might have a different, they might have a pure heart about it. They're probably like, I don't see color because I see them as a human being. Yeah. But this is why like wording and phrasing things is like so important, because I used to say that. And now that I'm hearing it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's so, I knew my heart, but if someone heard me say that, it might not come across as what my heart is trying to express.
It's like I was saying with the teachers. It's like I feel like teachers understand what you say and they understand your intent. So it's like,
yeah.
I know you're saying you don't see color, but what you mean to say is you're not like, when you see color, you're not judgmental about it.
Right.
Yeah, I did clarify. I was like, and I'm not kidding. Like, and if she hears it, by all means, hit me up. Like, tell me if I got it. And I'll totally cut this whole part out. No, anyway. But if I remember correctly, I asked her, I was like, what do you mean? Like, literally? And she was like, yeah, I just don't see it, And obviously what she meant was when she sees a person of color, it's almost as if she doesn't. But my retort is like, no, we are different. It's okay to say and see that we are different. It's not okay to say who's better or who's good or who's bad on just those differences,
For sure.
I got a connecting story.
Okay. Bro, I love it.
Well, I don't want to cut you off. I don't know if you're saying
no, I got nothing. Go ahead.
Especially with the Zoom, there's a little bit of lag, But so I was working with a person, not saying any names, But I will say what I was doing, I was working in life insurance at the time. And so we were door knocking, going, you know, doing that whole spiel. And a one-legged man in a wheelchair, electric wheelchair, who is also black, answers the door. Now, this is obviously an oddity, you know? It's like not only in Oakdale, I mean, not Oakdale, in Modesto is the black community just less in general, but as well as this guy doesn't have a leg. He's in like a really nice electric chair, not just like a wheelchair. And we door knock him, he answers the door, and super cool guy. Love this guy. Really amazing dude. At the door, we're just having good conversation. We're talking. The girl, eventually we're talking so much, we find out that he has like the taco trucks, like he has like a meal truck. And he's like, yeah, let me take you to the garage and show you guys what I got. And so we move over to the garage, and he's like, he says, so he says like, I'm gonna go through the inside, you guys go through the back because of my wheelchair. And then the girl goes, oh, you're in a wheelchair? I didn't even notice. And I just slowly like look over, like, and I'm like, his nub is pointing at you. like, I'm not even kidding. Like, you know how like the pant leg will kind of be up, and so, you know, they're just like,
yeah,
it's like, it's just hanging out, and it's fine, like it's whatever. But yeah, it's literally just pointing at her, like it's just one of his legs. And she goes, yeah, she's like, I didn't even notice you're in a wheelchair. And it really, I'll never forget it.
What did he say?
He ignored it. He kind of like giggled and walked away, because it was during the transition while he was going inside and we were going outside. And so it was like a
quick... saying that she didn't notice it just made things just so much more awkward, I feel like.
I do not remember if I said this, but the first thing I thought of was, did you not notice he was black too? Because that was right in your face. Like, it's like,
right.
What don't you see, apparently? Because he could have apparently had a shotgun and you would have been like, how's your day, sir? Like,
yeah, I had no idea.
Oh, you have a head. You're holding a head. Oh, I didn't see that there.
Because I don't judge. You know, that's what they're trying to, I guess, like, put that out there. But it's like, okay, you didn't have to say that, because it lets me know that you really don't, you know, those things are just like whatever. But in saying that, I don't know, man. I don't even have the right words.
To me, it shows me that she's learning. She wants to not judge, but yeah, she's still judging, you know.
Maybe it was her attempt at like, maybe attempting to like make him feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Not realizing that he already was.
Ooh, that's a very good point. I never thought of that, and I've said this so many times. But yeah, that's a good point, because if he didn't feel comfortable, it could be like, dude, you don't even have to worry about anything. I'm not even picking up on these things that you're nervous about, you know.
Right.
But yeah, he wasn't nervous. He was the coolest dude. That's what I feel like I got annoyed on his behalf, because yeah, it's like, you look down on me because I'm missing a leg, and
right.
Yet I own 3 businesses and you're knocking on my door. Like,
right. So yeah, I would say like she probably is learning. Just gotta have understanding and grace. But I'm glad it was you and not me there. I would not have known like how to react. I feel like you probably handled the situation better than what I don't know what I would have done, bro, to be honest.
uh, luckily there was a good pause, and literally I was worried he wouldn't open the garage after that. Like he was like, you know what? No, I'm done.
Just
But
keep y'all waiting.
yeah, no,
But then it went well after, like as if it never happened, as if she never said anything. Yeah, that's good. Because you know what, bro? If she realized it, she probably died inside anyways. You know, when you're just like, oh, why did I say that? You know? Because I definitely have moments like that.
yeah.
And so, because you didn't say anything after she said that?
Honestly, I don't remember if I mentioned it or not. Like to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember if I said anything to her or not.
Okay. So I was gonna say if that was me, which I pray to God that I don't ever say anything like that. Like I always want to be like slow to speak because sometimes I'll just blurt stuff out with the purest intention. But like I would have like died inside, and if someone was like, "You shouldn't have said that," I would have been like, "Oh no,
Even
oh
double.
I already know, yeah."
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when you get caught and then someone calls you out and you're like, thank you.
Because I didn't notice.
Yeah, I don't think I called her out, but like I said, I've been working on that. I do notice issues and call them out. And I'm not very nice about it. So it wouldn't surprise me if I totally did call her out.
Really?
Yeah, but dude, that job was crazy. That job was crazy. There
Did you
was,
like?
huh?
Did you like it? Like crazy in a good way?
There's aspects that I enjoyed that I liked about it, but in overall general, no, I did not. For a few reasons, but some of it does have to do with me not being in the right mindset at the time. Because I was super depressed and I just got over a breakup and I was figuring out how to live on my own and I just moved to California. And dude, when I moved to California, I lost my phone and my wallet, which had my ID. I had nothing. It
Oh
was,
gosh.
and then life insurance, I don't know if you know, but they take more money from you. So it's just, it was, and it's not, I mean, that's the game. Like, it's not like it was the secret, but that's my thing is that like, have you heard the thing? It takes money to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's one of those. Like, if you already have money and you're already well set off, you could do life insurance and be pretty successful. But if you're looking for a jump off spot, that's not the place to start.
Mm.
And so yeah, I did not enjoy my time there, but I try not to blame them.
For sure. Yeah, you're just going through like your own like season. And man, when I fell into depression, I was working at Buckle, and yeah, and so I was like, oh, okay, this is great. I love folding clothes, but it's commission. But the thing is, I was so depressed, bro. Like I did not. If people were like fighting for a customer, I'm like, go ahead, I'll be in the corner, like folding jeans. It's just crazy, like how your perspective is just all. I don't know. You're like in this gray, gloomy. You just have a gloomy, rainy cloud over your head all the time.
Yeah, it's you and we were saying earlier, like you push those things away that if you would have made a sale, that would have put you in a great mood, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If you had more money in your pocket,
Right.
yeah, and you those things that will help you, you end up walking away from, which doesn't make any sense. But that's why you're your own worst enemy, you know? Well, you can't.
Exactly. We're our own worst critic.
You worked at Buckle
I did, yeah.
in Texas, or
Yeah. Because when I first got there, um, gosh, I was doing this job and it was just odd. It was like under the table type of payment, and it was like it just seemed a bit sketchy, and I was like, oh, I feel kind of weird. And so I'm gonna get out of here.
you want to say what?
And I was like looking for a job, and then my friend was able to like help me get a job at Buckle. And when it was good because I was working with friends, it helped me find the joyful, positive side of things while I was like in my depression season. And then while I was working there, I was applying for, because I wasn't like caring about like commission and stuff like that because I was just so depressed. I was like, oh, I need to find a job that's like not commission, and so that's when I found the activities job at the retirement facility and fell in love with that job. And it was during the time I was starting to heal. So like, remember you were talking to me about like, you were explaining to me the string theory and you're like, it's crazy how like, now that you're healing, that's when you and Ronnie were meeting up. And then that's when I like reached out to you, and it would just, yeah. So same thing, like I got the job. And then while I was starting to heal, like internally and stuff, and I'm like, there is a rainbow right there. And the birds that I ignored, they were chirping the whole time, So yeah, but yeah, I did work at Buckle.
I have an interesting, I've been saying all these silly quotes, but I love this quote about that one specifically about how, yeah, when you're in a negative mindset, you push, all you think is negativity. And once you get into a positive mindset, you start to really appreciate it. And you're like, whoa, why didn't I see this before? It was here the whole time,
Yeah.
And one of the, how's the quote go? It's compared it's compared to a person who went on a walk and stepped in dog poop and doesn't know, and now all they smell is dog poop everywhere they go. They're like, why does my room smell like dog poop? Why does Target smell like dog poop? Why does everything smell like and it's ruining your day? And it's just, when really if you would just clean it off, you gotta, like, and they say shit don't change until you wipe it, you gotta take care of that shit, and then you realize, hey, it doesn't smell like shit anymore. This wasn't a shit smelling world. It was me. I was the one that was bringing this stench everywhere I went, and
that's so good.
So yeah, I heard that one recently. I really like that one.
That's really good. And don't feel bad about bringing up quotes all the time. I do that with quotes, with scripture, with memes, like all the time, because I feel like, I don't know, they're helpful. They're really, really helpful, because sometimes when someone calls me up or texts me and they're really down, sometimes they don't need scripture in that moment. Sometimes they just need a laugh. Sometimes they just need a quote or, a cliche saying, because not everything has to be like, well, the Bible says this, and so sometimes you just need to be there and give them a laugh. And like for me personally, I believe that as long as I'm doing my best to be there for somebody, provide the jokes, but I'm just like as needed, like God will get to them in his own time, and I don't need to like force that. I don't need to be like, well, have you read your Bible? Like, that's gonna make them not want to read their Bible. If I'm like constantly shoving it down their throats.
Yeah, that's not a good way to get them interested. Like,
exactly. But yeah, I was just saying that to let you know, like, don't ever feel bad about quoting, because I do it all the time, and I do it a lot with memes. I'm like, I saw this post where it says this and this and this.
I feel like quotes kind of like, I don't think they ruin the flow, but they can. Like I'll say
a quote, but I don't know. I think they're really helpful, personally.
I mean, I love them. That's why I know them. But like, I just think like, maybe I'll stop overthinking it too. Kind of just, yeah. I hear what you say, and yeah, thanks. You mentioned a friend to listen to, or sometimes your friends don't need scripture, they just need someone to listen to or say a joke or something.
Yeah.
My sister, when I was in MJC, and I was studying psychology, and I wanted to do that. Like, I love that stuff.
Me too.
She got so annoyed at me. She was like, you know, one day she calls me, we're talking, and I do it. Instead of scripture, mine was, well, psychologically speaking. And and she just stops me. You know what? I really don't want to hear it. And I was like, what? Essentially, I don't remember if it was those words, but right after that, she tells me, she's like, you know what, John? Like, sometimes we just call to like talk, just to have like a conversation. I want you to say, for you to listen and say you understand, you know, not just to analyze me and like, oh, you should have done this or something like that. And like, I was like, okay, it was a weird lesson, but you know, it's exactly. It's like it's not always the time to do quotes or scripture or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if someone was like talking to me about like, I feel bad that I started crying, I'm like, oh, well, you know, and then I can bring up the whole like the sad hormones and stuff like that. Like there's times to like bring up stuff like that because I love stuff like that. But then I'm not gonna be like, if it just doesn't feel natural, I'm not gonna be like, well, did you even know that psychologically, or well, the Bible says this? Because dude, if I was on the other side, I wouldn't want to listen. And I believe that if I'm spreading the word of God, if I'm giving any type of advice, what is it? Because there is a scripture that's one of my favorite ones. It says, if anyone asks you about the faith that is within you, do it in a respectful and gentle way. Because I've seen and I've witnessed people, those street preachers that like yell at you. I don't know if you've ever seen those, but they're like, ask me why you deserve hell. And I'm like, what? Like, this is not what it's about, you know? And did I tell you that story?
Well, yeah, but I don't mind you telling me again. It was a good story.
But I just thought that I'm like, now looking back on it, I'm like, oh my gosh, Jalein, like what? But I mean, it had a good outcome, but I just thought that it was funny that this guy was just like yelling, and I'm like, excuse me?
Did
You were saying that part like, oh, you didn't read context, you know, but I'm not going to be like, well, Jeremiah 29:11 said, because then it's just this. No one's learning anything. No one's receiving anything. If you're going to give advice or correct somebody, we're to do it in a way that they'll receive it, not feel like being lectured or condemned.
If either party is coming to this in an emotional state, we shouldn't have the conversation, you know. I remember this one girl she was like, I would try to get her to try all these foods, and when she would try the food, she would like, okay, all right. And it's like, you already hate it. You haven't even tried it yet, and you already hate it. Like, you already, like, try to go into it unemotional, like normal, like standard level. And then if you don't like it, you don't have to like it, you know. But if you like it, gauge it from there, you know.
For sure. And also making sure that you're not going into a conversation with other people's opinions in your mind already. Because, like, if someone told me, okay, you're going to go on this podcast with Giancarlo, but just know he's really cocky. And I took that into my mind, and I'm here and I see you like fix your hair or whatever.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm going to be like, he's being cocky. When really you're just fixing your hair.
Yeah, now everything's through that lens, that filter.
Exactly. Everything you say. And like, it's that dog poop analogy again. It's like everything you say now is going to be like, why did he say that? You know? And so it's just like, but yeah, that's really, really good because when we are having a conversation with anybody, if you already know you're being emotional, it's probably good to like reschedule or like, you know, and it's hard to call people out when they're like starting to get emotional.
Yeah.
But I feel like the way to do it is be like, hey, I think we don't be like, hey, I think you're da da da. Be like, hey, I think we're both getting a bit crazy. Let's call back in like 30 minutes and like just take a breather. Yeah. I feel like that's more that's easier to receive. I feel like.
Again, you're super classy. You're really good at doing that. I am not. I would have we'd have the same thought. We'd both pick up on the same vibe. And then I would just look at him and be like, yeah, you got to go. And they'd be like, what? I'm like, we're not talking. So what are you doing here? And the reason I say it like that is like, there's two options. Either A, talk to me, which we're not doing right now. So then there's the second option, B, get out. Like, and it's like, it's so aggressive. It's so mean and so angry. But I really want to say it like you. I want your words to come out of my mouth, but then my words come out and I'm like, why are you here? Dude, when Ronnie invited me to the bar the other day, I sit down at the table, there's another guy there, Ronnie goes to the bathroom, and I asked the guy why he's here. Yeah, I'm not kidding.
Why did you ask that?
I was like, listen, this is gonna come out wrong. I apologize, but I'm legit just asking, what are you doing here? Why are you here at this place right now? You know? And Tegan finally realized like it was a curious question, but literally I'm saying, but it sounds like, why are you here?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, I'm trying to ask, like, yeah, what brought you to this? Why?
Right. Yeah, or yeah, you could have just said, hey, so like what brings you in today?
Yeah, you have the class. You have it.
Hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah. And even I would have been offended. I get it, you know.
That's like someone saying, hey, I mean this with the utmost respect in the most loving way. But when you said that, who do you think you are? You know, there's just no way around it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But I don't know. I'm glad that the other guy got the vibe that it was just a curious question.
I think he got the vibe. He responded nicely, but
What did he say?
He's a local. He shows up frequently.
Okay.
One of his nights to be there, pretty much. But oh man,
I want to hear. How did you ask it? Because I'm trying to put myself in his shoes and be like.
No, I did a pretty good job the first time I did it just now. Like I literally said like, hey, okay, so Ronnie's on my right, I'm in the middle, and then I think his name's Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby's to the left, and Ronnie goes to the bathroom, so there's just a quick lull, there's karaoke going, and yeah, so I just feel like, hey, so, you know, not to sound rude, like, I apologize if it comes out rude, but yeah, like, what are you doing here? Like, right here, like, what are you doing here? Like, that's how it came out.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
I might be making myself seem like a saint right now, like, you know, it's like, he literally said, what the fuck are you doing here, boy? Oh, I guess I remember it differently. But I just know that the words that come out of my mouth, I normally like, you know, they say like you put your foot in your mouth. Like I put my foot in my mouth a lot. I stumble over my words all the time.
It's not easy to, and I think also me being a people pleaser it's a factor because I'm like, I don't ever want to say anything that I don't want to come across as rude or hurt people's feelings, but then there will be conversations that's going to be difficult, like confrontations and stuff. So it's just, it's a lot of like mind, I don't know, like just filtering out the right things. What's an emotional thing that I need to like take out? Instead of saying, you need to work on this, you could say like, hey, you know, as humans, we tend to do this. So I think, and I've also just noticed that blah, blah, blah. But I've been there though. So, you know, just like feeling with them so that they don't feel like you're like, you have flaws, blah, blah, blah. So whenever I share the gospel or anything on my stories, I don't ever say like, if you were da-da-da, because I know I'm also flawed. So I'll say, you know, as human beings, we need to blah blah blah. Maybe we need to improve on this. I recently posted, you know, if you're doing an online class, please show your camera, because I don't know if you saw that, but it's a video of a professor, and he's the only camera that's on, and he was like, I don't really get a lot of like face-to-face interaction, so I would really appreciate it if one of you, and someone like turned theirs on, and he's like, oh my gosh, hi, like I love your sweater. And I'm like, guys, can we please just turn on our cameras? Also give me the link, the Zoom link, because I'll hop on this class.
Jumping in, yeah.
So yeah, it's like just making sure that if I am sharing the gospel, like no one feels condemned, no one feels like I'm singling them out. I've even had to like really check my heart and make sure that, like, if I see someone is like posting something that's just like aggressive or it just doesn't look right, I am not gonna post scripture, but in my mind I'm like, I hope they see this and they get convicted about it. Like I feel God tell me to, if I'm doing it emotionally, I feel God tell me don't post it, because your mind is like, I hope this person sees it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, I think I know that's like a wrong kind of mindset.
To me, that's again that like vibration thing where it's like it's like you want to make a sound, but it's like, you know what? It's not your time. You don't need it.
Right. Ooh, that gave me chills.
It's
No, that's really good.
yeah, it's like sometimes we want to make a sound, and I've been there where I remember I was depressed and I was like, man, I just want to make noise, but I could tell that it's just not my solo in the song yet. It's coming up.
Right. Right.
For now, just let them do their part of the song and your part's coming up.
For sure. Yeah.
What you were talking about, I feel like, is getting your message across, you know, because whether it's, for you, it's a lot of scripture, or for example, I see like vegans a lot of the times, you know, they want to get a message across, but it's normally not the message, it's how it's being sent and received and delivered, you know?
Yeah.
I remember I saw a video of these like vegans like putting roses on pieces of meat in the grocery store, like you would like buy like just like a piece of steak, right? And they were putting roses on it, like it's like, oh, the dead cow, like paying their respects, you know? And yeah, it's so dumb. It's like and then you want to attack them, and because it's like, this is not okay, I'm getting off track. My point becomes that that's not the right way to get your message across. I know that I know you're trying to share veganism, and I know you're trying to share like, oh, they shouldn't,
which is not wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But like, and like I said, I saw the video and I heard this in a podcast, so I'm stealing someone else's idea. But what he said, like, what would have been a better thing, instead of putting like roses on the steaks, is to cook some vegan food out front, you know, get people excited, show them it can taste good. That's how you bring in a crowd. That's how you're not attacking them and their mentality and you're saying, let me show you, you know.
Right, exactly. Yeah, a lot of times it's like the delivery, because for me, I'm trying to eat more like vegan, more plant-based foods, but I'm not like gonna shove it down people's throats. Like if they ask me, oh, why did you like order the chicken salad or the chicken whatever salad, but you had the chicken removed? And then I feel like that's a doorway for me. Oh, because blah blah blah. But I'm not gonna sit there and like look at everybody's steaks and be like,
yeah, that's not gonna get your message across. No.
Yeah.
No one's gonna want to listen to you. Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably just like, get out of here.
I can really see you like, yes, I'll have the chicken salad, but no chicken. Loud right there.
Did you hear that, everybody?
Anybody want to ask me about my salad choices?
No? Well, I'll tell you anyway.
Someone you just hear like, good enough. And it wasn't even near you, and you just start telling all your friends, like, well, see.
Thank you for asking. This is why.
So glad you asked.
Oh my gosh. LOL.
We crack us up.
That's so real.
Dude, I honest to God didn't get to my list, and I'm impressed, and I'm happy about that, and I feel great about that. And we're I think we're 3 hours in. I think we're 2 minutes away from 3 hours.
Oh, sweet. Okay. That's perfect because my mom's like, hey, come with me to drop off some mail.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we're
perfect.
Let me know if you gotta.
We're like literally right on time.
Yeah, let me know if you wanna like if you need to like. Okay, I got 2 minutes. You know, like tell me if you have like a timer. You know what I mean?
Okay, probably like I probably have like 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes. Okay, we can wrap it up in 5 minutes. MJ.
MJ, my favorite entertainer of all time.
Oh, okay. Number one, I just wanted to hear that because I didn't know if it was still true. You know, some people like love Elvis growing up, but then I don't like him anymore. You know.
Oh my gosh, yes. And I recently saw this post where he said that he wanted to like as a grown man, I think it was like in his 40s or something, he wanted to experience what it's like to go grocery shopping. So they shut down. Did you see that? They shut down the grocery store so that he wants to know what it feels like to put stuff in a basket. And he had friends pretending to shop, and he said it felt like and super genuine, he said it felt like Disneyland. And I'm like, this is why, like, I don't believe the stuff he was accused of is like, I genuinely think that he loved hanging around children was because he didn't have that as a kid. He doesn't know what wonder is, like, you know. But yeah, I love him.
I changed my opinion because I honestly was like it's not a good look, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I changed my opinion when I heard Dave Chappelle talk on the topic, and it's just one of those things where it's like people say so much stuff about everyone, you know. So it's like you really can't believe everything you see, and you're gonna need some hard facts and some hard evidence. Or you're gonna get me to believe that. And sure, it doesn't look great. I don't see any hard facts and evidence. So that's where I'm left on it. But yeah, I saw that clip I saw like a meme of it or something. And yeah, they said that, yeah, they hired everyone inside. Like they hired everyone to like just pretend they didn't know him.
Yeah.
And that's really true, and that's really cool, but it also makes you think like how mystical and wonderful is our everyday life.
Right. It made me think of that when he said like, I want to know what it feels like to put stuff in a basket. And I'm like, wow. Like
that's
I need to start like counting my blessings more and things to be thankful for.
Yeah, those are the very little things. like
yeah.
Someone could you imagine if you went to the grocery store and saw someone enjoying, like they put something in their cart and they enjoyed it? You'd be like, that's cool.
yeah.
But yeah, no.
Or you can just be high on life, and that's what I want to be all the time. It's just like appreciate every little thing.
Yeah, exactly. It makes total sense when you got that outlook, you know. I know you had fun. Dude, this was a very easy 3 hours.
Easy 3 hours. I know.
Yeah.
Thank you again for having me.
Of course. Will you please come back?
Yes. Can you come back? Yes, of course.
And it was funny. I mentioned like you're super cool because you're a little famous and all that. We didn't even talk about that. Not even. You know? That's real friendship where you're just enjoying it.
That's true.
All right, Jalein.
Also, I was just like, I just did little parts, but I am thankful for those parts.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in the next episode.
Okay, yeah, just let me know, and let me know when this episode is up so I can like share it on my social media stuff.
I'll text you some details right now because there's little stuff about it, but yeah, I'll let you know. Yeah, I love you.
So you still got it and stuff like that.
What?
Because I know you still got to edit and all that.
Exactly. I'll probably do like a rough upload right now. So if you want to watch it, but there's going to be a cleaner upload probably tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. Well, thank you again so much.
Thank you.
Love you, Giancarlo. Stay the amazing person that you are. And please let me know whenever you want me to come back. I'm always down.
Oh, thank you. And yeah, right back at you. You're the best guest. All right. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.